Hey guys, it's Ross, Franklin County Forage. Obviously, you probably already know that. I just want to get you caught up on a few things. With my camera acting up, I never know when it's going to work and when it's not. So, this morning, I collected soil samples, pulled a sample from each of my fields here at the house, as well as a sample from the neighbor, and I delivered them. Hopefully we'll get the results back here in the next week or so. Plenty of time to get the fertilizer on for this planting here, and probably be able to get the fertilizer on after I cut this field, which is the alfalfa field with the teff, as well as the backfield. In the meantime, I did some ripping, which I think you guys saw a little bit of, maybe, and I did some disking, which I know you guys saw a little bit of. Here's the beast. She's all shined up. Get the trash can, but I want to talk to you guys while I do that. Things worked out pretty well, really. The grass and weeds and stuff had grown a lot more than I thought they had on the other side of the pond at the neighbors. It's gonna be all right. We're gonna make do with what we got, of course. Right across the road is working up really well. That's what I had cut for hay, though. Here's what it looks like. This was ripped. And whenever I say ripped, I'm not talking about chisel plowing. I mean, it was ripped, deep ripped. I realize there's deeper rippers out there, but deep ripped here, you know, we're 2 foot, give or take. So it was deep ripped, and I disked it once with the wings up, and then I did make a pass on a few spots here with the wings down as I was coming out. Hit this a few more times. This is gonna work out really well. There is still some grass up on top, but not too bad. One example of how deep I disc with the wings up, just for reference here, there's my hand. I realize this is, you know, probably more like that would be the ground level. I estimate that at roughly 6 inches. Of course, that depends. You know, you hit a really hard spot, it may come up out of the ground a little bit. Hit a wet spot, it may go down in the ground a little bit more. But roughly, average of about 6 inches of depth with my disc. Now, if you're just working up to make a seed bed, you don't really need to go 6 inches. However, when you've got a lot of residue, not just residue, I consider residue dead plant material, but live plants, you've got to disc those deeper. You need to move that soil more. You can't go through there with a vertical tillage tool. You can't go through there with just a cultivator. You're going to plug. You're going to have issues. So really the two options are a heavy disc or a plow. You could potentially chisel plow, but you're going to plug. Again, you've got to do something with that material. You need to size it. You need to bury it. The absolute best thing for that is a mold board plow. And we do have a mold board plow. It is slower. It does a little bit better job. And then it's rough as a cob when you gotta go over it that first time. But that's one of those things, pros and cons to everything, right? I've got some time before I have to get it planted, so I'm gonna work it up several times, get that work down good, get a good seed bed. We'll get some fertilizer on there and work that in, and we'll roll it and pack it, drill it, roll it again, and we'll be good. Hopefully next year we'll have another small patch, 5 acres of straight orchard grass. That's the plan, at least. So come along with me, guys. Here we are, and this is gonna be the second time over. We're unfolding the disc right now. Again, this is a 1010 Kewanee 18-foot disc. We're pulling it with a 2135 white. Here we go. Go. Oh, my lock was still engaged. My bad. Okay, let's try that again, guys. See, even when you're perfect, you screw up sometimes, which means you're not perfect. All right. Rolling. This is disc number 2. We have ripped it, and disced it with the wings up. Now we're disking it with the wings down. Again, this is at the neighbor. I'm just disking a pass in, then we're gonna go disc back here in the back, and then we'll finish this up as we go. Kind of see it's working up decent. We'll see how it turns out. How many times I got to disc it here. Let's go on back to the back. Alright guys, so I just remembered I still have my donuts on from last year when we did our final disking on the where we planted the orchard grass. So I'm going to take at least one, maybe two of those off, and so I can go ahead and cut a little bit deeper and try to bury more of this material here. You can tell the difference. Second time over, only one time over, and it's much smoother this time. This here is still pretty rough. After this time, it'll be a lot smoother driving over and everything, but we got a lot of material left to bury. So we're gonna do that right now. at the corner of the field over this way, and I angled over. So from the corner of the field, that little corner over there, we've done most of it. There's Cade in the tractor. He's waving at us. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Of course, the ends, where it gets worked up a lot more, this end is really worked up well. You guys can see that. But then this here, I'm going to pass over this here a third time here, or second time. But there's what the end looks like. I'll be pretty happy when I get this out here to look more like this. There is still a lot of debris. I am covering a lot of it up. See what it looks like by the tractor to here. Yeah, I know I got a plug right there. Don't worry about that. And we're definitely gonna hit this at least 2 more times. We're supposed to get a rain here this weekend sometime. I'm really wanting a rain on this and then let it dry out and then hit it again, and that'll really kind of melt that soil away from these plant roots. What I really like is I like to be able to run the cola packer over it with the teeth down. And what that does is that fills in my tracks, smooths it out. Everything works well like that. And if there's got too much debris, I can't put my teeth down. So it's not the end of the world. It just helps it be a little bit smoother. Whew, it's rough in here, guys. But luckily, after this time, it'll be much, much smoother. You can see what the field looks like after the second time, before the second time. Much larger clods, much rougher, some furrows. This here, everything's filled in and broke up nice. Not near as much grass and stuff sticking up. Making progress, guys, we're making progress. We're trying to size this material. We're trying to bury whatever residue we can as deep as possible. So we're cutting as deep as the disc will go. So, you know, we're not setting any records by any means, but it's cutting pretty good. I would say we're cutting a good 3 to 4 inches. And in this rough ground like this, that's pretty significant. Disking is complete for the day. Got quite a bit more disking to do on the back, at least 2 more times. We got some hay ready to cut. We're waiting for some weather to be able to get it dry. Like I said, call for rain this weekend. Hopefully next week we can get some of that cut, and then probably the following week we'll be ready to start planting this. Not start, ready to plant it. I mean, it's not going to be a long process. There's only 5 acres there. I do want to no-till some orchard grass in this alfalfa field, and I might try to no-till some orchard grass in some thin spots in some of my other fields. That's it for working ground today. We're going to call it quits. We're going to go in and eat some supper. Well, last year, if you remember, I fixed the air conditioning on this tractor. And then while I was working ground in the back, I was having some issues with it leaking inside the cab. I took that apart. There was a busted spot in the tray. Well, not really busted, where the drain line goes into the tray. It had been siliconed around there, but that was dried and kind of peeling off, so I redid that as good as I could. And then this year it started leaking again. So whenever I parked it here, I noticed there's quite a bit dripping out of the front, so I thought, well, I'll just see if there's anything coming out the back, and it was completely dry. So I thought, well, let's just check this thing out. Yeah, hold on, Cade. So what I did was I pulled the end, and I wish I would have got it on film here. But you can see where it drenched my tire. It just about soaked me wet. Big old puddle here on the ground. That's all water. And this is what came out of it. There's the plug that goes in it. And it was just plugged with stuff. So what's been happening is the air runs long enough to fill this drain line, fill it all the way up, fill the tray, and then pour out inside the cab. So, and I just thought maybe it busted loose again, and I hadn't even really checked this, but that's something to keep in mind. So now, hopefully, I'll actually be able to run my air full blast, because what I've been doing, I've just been switching it on and off and on and off, trying not to really pour the coals to it. But we make lots of condensation here. That humidity is crazy. So it doesn't take long. I mean, probably 15, 20 minutes to fill this whole tube up and the tray and everything. So, all right. Ready to go eat something, Cade? Huh? You like that asphalt mountain? Yeah. Talking about these big rocks down here. Catch you later.